In case you've been living under a rock, which I have for the past year, seeing as I haven't made videos, Super Collider has released a new album. Now, one of the few videos I made on this channel that have, now been unlisted was a review of Super Collider's last album. Well, actually the album before last. I've been really just not making videos. So if we go back a little bit, Super Collider released an album titled No X and Espresso. Very solid album. I believe I gave it like an 8 out of 10, and I kind of thought that was going to be her peak, but no. Next, she comes out with Going to Hell and Taking You With Me. This album is not as good. Now, initially, it's kind of funny, but I ended up saying that this was kind of No X B-sides because I had no idea about music genres. I just didn't understand anything about music at the time, and I was like, wow, it has drums and it has guitars, and it's the same thing as No X. Completely different albums. But I digress. I didn't like the album as much. It wasn't as consistent, whereas No X was a little too long and it had some dull moments. Going to Hell isn't as long, and it only has 10 songs and still manages to have a lot of misses. Just songs that I feel like didn't need to be included or could have been expanded upon. Specifically, Post. Post is just not a good song. Anyways, I digress. This is not a review on either of those albums. After a very good album, No X, and a album that seemed to show artistic progression but didn't exactly meet the standards that No X set, I was a little bit interested to see what Super Collider would do next. That's when they announced Once But Never Again. So, now we set the stage for the review. This album is very interesting because it comes out at a time where I was actually fully invested in the dream pop and shoegaze genres. For me personally, having an album that reflects these two main genres across its entire runtime was really great for me personally. Maybe it's a little bit of a bias because I've been getting into these genres and, I've really been getting into the likes of like Beach House and Slow Dive, two very big dream pop and dream pop and give me the word. Shoegaze. Two very big artists in that genre. So having an album based around those sounds, for me, very good. This was a great move. Now, of course, Super Collider didn't do this for me, but it really set the stage for me enjoying this album. First single comes out, Dream Sequence. I didn't know how much I was gonna like this song until it grew on me, right? Initially gave it a 10 out of 10. It's still a 10 out of 10, but it's a different 10 out of 10. Next to come out is I Love You, Bob Odenkirk, which interesting single choice. I won't lie. I think the song is amazing. I feel like the title was made in a way to get big on social media platforms because of the rise in popularity of the series Better Call Saul with Bob Odenkirk. Maybe that's not the case, but I do kind of feel like the title doesn't quite make sense with the song, and it does kind of feel a little bit like it's capitalizing off the popularity of that. But either way, the song did well, and the song is amazing, so this is a great single. I was a little bit concerned because we're 2 singles in, and we still didn't have an album release date, I don't believe, at that point. So I was like, okay, 2 singles. I'm very hyped for this album. It's probably going to be 10 to 12 tracks, so we'll see. There's also a 3rd single, Song for Knives. And I did not like this decision because for me personally, I want the least amount going into an album. I want to be surprised with how much the runtime, interests me. But having 3 singles for me, especially for what was a 10-track album, I was a little hesitant on that. Song for Knives is an amazing song. It has very large production, and yeah, okay, whatever. But it's it's so overwhelming and so just stuffed with so many sounds that it works. This song is amazing. I love how loud and punchy, and the intro is so gorgeous. It sets the tone for the song so well to the point where I have not heard a song with a better intro ever. This is the best intro on a song. I absolutely love Song for Knives intro. Amazing 3rd single, but it's also a 3rd single. So then the album comes out, and thank God the sequencing has changed a little bit because for the last 2 Super Collider albums, the singles have all been grouped together, and it annoyed the shit out of me when I would go to listen to the entire album and the singles would be back to back. I don't know why she was doing that, but it's finally changed and the singles are spliced up, so we're good. Every single song here is amazing. I cannot express how much artistic vision you can hear in this album. You can hear how everything was planned out and how every note is intentional. All the lyrics have very deep meaning behind them. Like, you can tell they're not just said to fill up time, or said to have lyrics there, or said to just be remembered. They're said for meaning. They were written down with a purpose, and every single word has its place, and I love that. Everything about this is absolutely beautiful. It's masterful. This is one of the best albums I have ever heard. The listening experience for this thing is unlike any other album that I have listened to. It's completely unique, and yes, every time you listen to an album, the listening experience is unique, but this one is unique in its own way. Once you realize what was used to make this album and how DIY it is mind-blowing that a singular artist with no other outside help at the stage in their career that they're at, where they're only on their 4th album, is doing something this masterful. Nicki is just an insane artist. She does so much work, and you can tell because every album just keeps getting better. All the storytelling and all the soundscapes on this record serve a purpose. There is not a song that I would remove. There are songs that are less than the other songs. I wouldn't put Old Car and Nighttime over Dream Sequence, but all those songs are amazing. There isn't a song that I would take out because I feel like it is significantly less than all of the others around it. You start out with an amazing song, again for the first time, really sets the mood for the album. I love how it opens the album. What I like is that the album kind of goes from like Super Collider but like upbeat to completely depressing at the very end, and I love that. You're kind of descending through the track list, and I love everything about that. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but it's amazing. Then you get to my personal least favorite on the album, though still a 10 out of 10 song, Any Day. It has this beautiful blown out arpeggio as like its main part, and I love that. The lyrics are amazing. I love the melodies on this song. It's beautiful. Next is the best song off the album, which is Dream Sequence. This is also, big statement, the best song of all time. I have yet to hear a song this good. It is actually mind-blowing how this song was made. Like, I cannot comprehend how a song like this came to be. This is beautiful. I cannot get over this song. I cannot listen to it enough. Dream Sequence is the song. Next, right after that, is Delusion. This is like second, third place on the album. It's either Delusion or Song for Knives, and I kind of switch between them any day. I love both of these songs. They're incredible. Next is Song for Rain, which is also a very good song, and I'm kind of glad that she's kept this naming convention with Song for blank, because Song for Dirt off of Going to Hell was a good song, but I didn't really like it very much. It wasn't as good as the highs on Going to Hell, but I like the naming convention. I'm glad that she's kept this going. Next is the single I Love You, Bob Odenkirk, and again, this is a beautiful song, and I love the lyrics. This song specifically has amazing lyrics, and I love this one. It's one of the more easy listens on the record. This is just one I can kind of put on loop or put in like a playlist, and just it'll skim by me, and I just love it. Next is the crazy Song for Knives. Again, the intro on this song is so beautiful, I cannot even describe it. It is the most insane atmosphere I've ever heard for a song. I've never heard anything that could set a tone quite like this intro. It is impossible for me to understand how this was made. Next is probably my second least favorite, which is Old Car and Nighttime. Still a 10 out of 10 song, but just a little bit, I enjoy it just a little bit less than all the others. Again, beautiful instrumental. I love where this thing goes, and it flies by. Second to last is Twin Bed. Love the title of this song, and I also love the intro. I've never heard Super Collider use the staccato strings before, and I love it. It's a very unique sound that I didn't expect for her to go for, so whenever the song first opened, I was like... The vocals on this song are some of my favorite on the record. I specifically love the vocals right after the explosion. So beautiful. This song has such an impact, especially, it's such an explosive song right before the last track. This is the one I'm going to talk the most about. Still not, too long, but this song is like, this is technically the best Super Collider song. Like, Dream Sequence for me is my favorite, then maybe Song for Knives or Delusion, but like this one, it's a 9-minute song, but I've listened to it on loop for like 3 hours before. Like, this song is masterful. It pays homage to an old Super Collider song with the lyrics. You just kind of have to hear it to understand. What I love is that it doesn't have a huge explosion. I love explosions, especially in Super Collider songs. But the build up and the large instrumental and how it just keeps getting bigger and just keeps building but doesn't break. It doesn't stop and then explode, or it doesn't just stop or end or do anything. It just builds the tension more and more until it ends. There's a beautiful way to end an album. One of the best album closers I've ever heard. The way it all just builds on top of each other is unlike anything I've ever heard before. All in all, this is the second best album I have ever listened to of all time. Not just like this month or this week or this year, just ever. This album is truly masterful. I can understand how she's doing such great things at the age she's at and with the equipment she has. This is unlike anything that even major studio artists could make. And I applaud her for that. I love this album and I will never stop loving this album. This is truly masterful and it's a 10. In case that wasn't obvious, it's a 10. I love this. I cannot see where she I cannot wait to see where she goes next with her music, because at this rate, she just might be one of my favorite artists ever. I mean, she's already kind of there with her last run of albums, but this is the first album she's made where I truly believe it's a masterpiece. And it's going to be hard for her to top this for me. And this might remain my favorite album by her for a while, or forever. But everything she was able to do with this album is incomprehensible. I love it to death. Once but never again. Stream it, please. You like this cover? I made it, okay? Cool. Anyways, yeah, so very cool album. Yeah, so don't know if I'm going to be making more videos, but just wanted to put this out there. I kind of already wrote a review on Rate Your Music, but I wanted to make it in video form. Anyways, if you liked it, like it, subscribe. If you really want to, hit the bell if you want to get notified. And I may see you again.